Hey everyone, good to see you again. I'm here with John and Rebecca from CHEA. We're glad to have you here with us today. We got a lot of great information to share with you. Hey John and Rebecca.
Hi, Nathan.
Hi, Nathan. How are you doing?
Good, good. Glad it's Friday.
Good. Yeah, I am
Good
too.
from CHEA. We're glad to have you here with us today.
There we go.
We got a lot of great information. Good, good. Glad it's Friday.
Good. Yeah, I am too.
Good from CHEA. We're glad to have.
Sorry about that. I found us. Okay. All right. So we're all doubly glad that it's Friday.
Yes.
Right.
So I see you two are in your offices, and my beloved and I have managed to sneak out of town real quick and try to head out of town before the Friday traffic. So we're in a little bit of different background here. This is our travel trailer. So
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
yeah, this is the wonders of modern technology. You can take your work with you, or is that a good thing?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not so much, probably.
Right. Well, as soon as we're done here, I'm signing off for the weekend. But
Yeah.
we have a lot to talk about because there's a lot going on. But I wanted to hit an update on some of these bills we've been talking about, and not an awful lot has happened, but some things are happening. And John, you were going to tell us about what's happening in D.C. There was a decision on that vaccine bill there, correct, for the minors giving consent?
Yeah, that's right. So the backdrop to this is, we have pending here in California our own bill that is proposed to eliminate parental consent for minors 12 years and above. And that is SB 866 here in California, that would give minors the ability to make those medical decisions on their own without their parents even knowing what's going on. And DC passed a similar bill about a year ago in the middle of the pandemic, and it was challenged right away by a group of parents. And just this last week, at the trial court level, it was a federal court, but at the first step in the process, the judge there struck it down and said, no, this law violates parental rights and parental religious liberties. There was some language in that bill, in the DC bill, that specifically targeted religious exemptions. So, I don't have a copy of the court's ruling. Again, it was not an appellate decision where there would be something published, but it is certainly encouraging and it is instructive that, hopefully a similar thing, if it came to fruition, could happen here, or better yet, that those that are considering passing a similar bill here in California would see the reasoning and the ruling in DC as a warning against even moving forward with the bill. That's really what would be the best outcome and that we would be praying for here. So it's encouraging. It's DC. It doesn't directly create precedence over what we're doing here. It's probably going to be appealed, but it is nevertheless encouraging to see a ruling like that come down.
Yeah. I think that is encouraging to me as well. And it says that somebody somewhere is thinking, and thinking about, the constitutionality of it, the effects it has on parental rights, and then also the long-range issues it could have for children as they grow older, and the medical ramifications of it as well. So, yeah, that is encouraging. I'm glad to hear that. And then also, Nathan, you had mentioned that there's some movement on AB 1993.
Yeah. So we talked last time. John brought up 1993 last week, AB 1993, which is one of the package of vaccine-related bills here in California. This one's by Buffy Wicks, and this is, in addition to other bills, Senator Pan's bill 876, and then the bill that John just mentioned, 866 by Weiner. These are part of a larger group of bills dealing with vaccines, and 1993 is the first one of those that we're really seeing. Yesterday, it was assigned a hearing date, so that kind of is starting to be, that information is starting to get sent out, trying to encourage people to make their phone calls or send in their emails about that bill. And 1993, if you remember from last time, addresses basically all employees in California. Anyone who works basically would be required to be vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And so that's a bill that if it gets passed is definitely going to impact not just parents, not just families that homeschool. It's going to impact everybody one way or another. And so the hearing date is next week, next Wednesday. And I wanted to mention just briefly a couple of things about that hearing date. Usually the standard procedure is that if you want to oppose a bill, if you want to send in a letter on a bill and have it go into the record, it's got to be sent in a week prior to the hearing, which means that you have to find out about the hearing date more than a week before the hearing date. And in this case, you can't do that. It's impossible because that date passed 2 days ago. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention, is that this is the first bill here moving forward, getting a hearing date. This is the kind of thing that we're going to need to be prepared for looking forward at the other bills that are coming up. We need to be ready to jump on these things right away and take action on day one when we find out that they've been assigned a hearing date. Because they're kind of kicking this into high gear, moving quickly on it. And we don't know when they're going to announce the hearing dates for other bills. So this bill will impact a lot of people. The hearing date's coming up next week. We will put some links down below this video to show you who you can contact about this bill, committee members and such. But also that window is pretty short. So if you are going to take action on this, it needs to be now. So definitely take action today. And if you can't get through to somebody, if you're making phone calls, which I think are the best way to impact a bill, I would say definitely make phone calls. If you can't get through to somebody in the office because they're out Friday afternoon, start making your phone calls first thing Monday morning.
Okay. All right. Good information. Thank you, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And probably have your letters ready too for subsequent bills. If you're planning on submitting a letter, get
right.
Your letter or your paper. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'll be looking for that link. And that just brings me to the next steps. I mean, last month we had the Homeschool Freedom Day, which was a phenomenal success. And we don't just do advocacy training because we want people to know how to be advocates. We want them to be advocates. So
right.
What's the next step in the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we taught people at Homeschool Freedom Day, we want people to engage in building relationships with their elected officials, with their California State Assembly members, and with their California state senators and other elected officials as well. But that's our focus. And so we want people to be going and making visits to district offices specifically, because somebody visiting the district office of their own elected officials is kind of the most grassroots level, the most personal level that you can relate to and begin to build a relationship with your legislator. So we provide training, and if you weren't at Homeschool Freedom Day, you can get access to training videos on our website, and we can help you by not just providing those training videos, but also answering questions and providing you with a packet of information, a homeschool packet for legislators that you can use to reach out to your legislator to provide them information on homeschooling that can help you inform them about how homeschooling works in California, how homeschooling works both legally as well as how homeschoolers do academically and socially. So that packet is something that we can send to you if you're willing to make that commitment to engage with your legislators at the local level. And you can certainly do that on our website. at fpmca.org, and we'll put a link to that. But the program that we use for that is Advocacy from Home. So I would encourage you to take a look at that, and we'd love to have you join the team there.
Yeah. The more families visiting their district offices, the better. Now, once they visit, when they come on home, we want to hear from them again, right?
That's right. Yeah. Once you have a visit, or even if it's just a phone call, or have some kind of engagement with the legislator or their staff, it's really helpful to us to know how that went. So we have a feedback form on our website where you can just type in how your interaction went with them. There's some easy to answer questions that you can go through and just say how it went. And it's a really easy way to provide feedback to us that's really important for us to get, and it helps us to follow up or to know what kind of questions people have, or maybe if you find out some information that's helpful to us about some bill or something that someone is planning in the future, that can be really helpful to us as well.
And also, we have some idea of who's being visited and which districts are not being visited. So we have to, if we need to find somebody to get out into a particular district, then we know, we know where the empty spots are.
Right. And if you have a really good experience interacting with the legislator's office, then it helps us to know who we can call, because you have a relationship with this person, and we can contact you in the future if there's a need, which there often is a need to connect directly one-on-one with somebody in a district office about some bill that's coming up, or some threat to homeschooling or parental rights. We need to have people all over the state that care about their parental rights and homeschool freedoms, so that we can work together to maintain those freedoms.
And that is so key. That's just key. Okay. All right. Thanks for explaining that. I appreciate it. And you're going to be doing some more advocacy training in person.
Yes.
Right? Families are going to be heading down to our annual convention. You and John, you want to meet these guys in person, they're going to be there. But Nathan, you're specifically going to be doing advocacy training.
Yes. And I'm really excited about that. If you want to get advocacy training in person, this will be a really great opportunity. We will have resources for you there, as well as in-person training, and you can ask questions and learn about how things work. And it'll be really great to have you there at the convention.
Yeah, we're excited about that. So if you're going to be in Southern California, May 19th through 21st, we'll be having our annual convention, 37th annual convention there at the Anaheim Convention Center. So I'm just so thrilled that we're actually going to be able to meet in person this year. I say this, I have to say, Lord willing, in all humility, but it really looks good. We saw the California Department of Health has announced that they'll be rolling back that vaccine and proof of vaccine and proof of negative test requirement for large mega events, and so we're all on the free and clear to come on out to the convention. So we also are having our leadership conference on Thursday, May 19th, just prior to the convention kickoff. And both you, Nathan, and John will be there speaking. You'll be talking about legal and legislative matters. So we're excited about that. If any of you are leading a homeschool group, this is your invitation to come on out and join us. I'll put a link to register and for more information below as well in the comments. So we're really looking forward to that. One of the things that we have going on too at the convention is the kickoff of our 40th anniversary celebration. So we're planning on putting together a video, and we'll have some information in our program. I'm pulling together some of the longtime CHEA, former CHEA board members and RABs, and lots of familiar faces from many years ago, and we'll be having something of a reunion. So we just pulled out 2 big banker boxes full of photos, 40 years worth of photos of CHEA conventions and events. And I'll tell you, I've been taking a stroll down memory lane.
Oh, I bet.
It's we've changed a lot over the years. But it's been fun. So we'll be talking about that a little bit at the convention. That's our kickoff, and then we'll be celebrating throughout the summer. So I hope that you all will come on out and join us. And we just want to rejoice and give God the glory for what He's done. 40 years. So much has happened in the 40 years. Homeschooling was presumed illegal by some when we first started, when CHEA was founded in 1982, and here we are 40 years later. Homeschooling is declared legal in all 50 states in the union. So a lot's taken place in these years. So we're going to talk about some of these things that God has done. But one of the big things that is important to our advocacy, to our promoting advocacy for private homeschooling, is our research project that we've been working on for a couple of years. So I don't know, John, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about that and what why it's important?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that one of the main tools that we can use when we're doing advocacy, and certainly Nathan, when he is going and meeting with legislators and being an advocate on behalf of homeschooling, and let's be honest, answering a lot of questions about homeschooling from people that really don't know a lot about it. One of the main tools in his case that he can pull out is evidence-based research and analysis that shows that homeschooling is successful, and in many instances is not just on par with state or national levels of public school, but exceeds those. And those of us who are in the homeschooling community, we know that from our own experiences and being homeschool families, and we can point to all kinds of anecdotal evidence of success. But when Nathan or we at CHEA are engaging with lawmakers, with policymakers, they like hearing about the anecdotal. My child or my niece or nephew got this scholarship or is having this success. There's value in that, but not at the same degree oftentimes as, hey, here's a report from a professor, or here is an actual analysis showing statistical success in the homeschool community. So it's important that we have that backup and that tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's essential. As you said, they love hearing the anecdotal stories. They also love meeting homeschool students, but having scientific research, presented from a trusted research organization, doubly makes that case. So we're still working on that. We've been working on it for a couple of years. We've been collecting data, and we want to continue to collect data so that we have an ongoing body of research that we can present. So interestingly, our California state-specific research caught the attention of a few other states in our alliance that we belong to, and now they're going to be working with Bob Jones University Press and National Home Education Research Institute to have their own state-specific research. We can compile also our data and have a multi-state study taking place, but we're still going to be having our state-specific research. And I wanted to just clarify that because I think there might have been a little bit of confusion. And I want Californians to keep signing up for those tests through our portal. I'll put the link in the comments below because we need to continue to build this data. I think the consistency, and I believe there's going to be consistency in how well these students are doing. Hint, hint, I had a peek at a kind of a preliminary report. So we think that they're going to continue to do well because homeschooling works. There's nothing better than one-on-one instruction for students, and parents can do a wonderful job teaching their children at home, regardless of their income level, regardless of their educational background, and demographics don't matter. You know, the demographics just don't seem to impact that. It's a loving parent teaching their child at home. So, and we are, Lord willing, going to be able to have some kind of a sneak peek on that at the leadership conference and also at the convention. So be on the lookout for that. So those are the things that we have going on. As I said, we had a lot of things to talk about today. So, but I think we've gotten through our list, and I just want to say thank you, guys. This is a great way to kick off the weekend.
Yeah, it sure is. Yep, looking forward to the convention and seeing you guys in person. That's always fun, and lots of others, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yes, looking forward to it. Well, thank you again for joining us, and we're going to sign off now. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.